And we are live. All right. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have Kathryn Calamia. She is a creator. She's a writer. She has a Kickstarter that is live right now, and we're going to be talking about it. So come on back.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man. And I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live once again. We have a Kickstarter special. We're going to be talking to Kathryn Calamia, and she's got a book called The Dancer, #1 and 2, a psychological martial arts thriller. That's what we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. But if you guys are interested in this kind of thing where we talk to independent artists, whether it's comic book creators, musicians, magicians, whatever it is, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, comment as much as you can on these shows, and hit that bell so that you know when we're going live.
Hit the bell, baby.
What up, Sammy? What's going on, my brother? Listen, high energy. It's the 8 o'clock hour. Okay, we have another guest. If you guys just missed it, we had Grant Lankard on the show at 7 p.m. We were talking to him about Beowulf. That's also on Kickstarter. It's Kickstarter Tuesday. So we're talking Kickstarters today. I saw Johnny's back in the chat. Thank you so much, my friend, watching us on Facebook. We're streaming Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the moment. So make sure if you are any of those platforms, you can check us out there. But Sammy, talk to us, my brother. Now, listen, I had a question for you. Before you talk to us, the duty little clip that you showed at the beginning, that scream, is that you?
That's me, baby.
Yes. Okay. Are you also doing the? Is that you too?
No, the barking, no. And the pitter patter of feet, that was me.
Oh, look at you, sound effect artist.
Yes.
Damn, dog. Yeah. Wow, you do it all, bro.
Shit, that's what it is, man. Jack of all trades. You know, I grew up in a Puerto Rican family where, you know, something breaks, you got to fix it. You got bubble gum, you got aluminum foil and a hanger and some tape, you're good.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
There was always a way. Always a way.
That's right. Were you the remote control as a little kid for the TV? Was that you?
I was the one who had to take the aluminum foil and the hanger.
Yeah, I was the remote, my dude. I was like, yo, I want to watch channel 2. I'm like, that was me. That was my job.
And the static, like my grandfather would come over and smack it. Pop.
That's it, baby. It was simpler times, Sam. Simpler times.
TVs was as big as a freaking sofa. They were huge.
Dude, and you know what? You look back now, I don't even know what I would do without a phone, like a smartphone, not just a phone. Because remember, back in the days, we didn't know who wanted to talk to us until we got home and we checked messages. And then we called people back.
And you were only allowed, as a kid, you were only allowed to make one phone call a day, no more than 20 minutes, because the phone bill. Right. So you can receive phone calls all day long. But but mom would be like, no. Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yo, not video music box. The box. Remember when the box came and you used to call and select the video that you wanted to play? They would charge you every time that you selected, so it was like $3 or whatever. So I remember my mom got the bill. And I didn't realize, I didn't know I would call it in. I want to listen to OPP. When OPP came out, I was like, I want to listen to OPP. And,
OPP.
I used to play all of those.
OPP.
When that bill came in, my mom was like, Wakata. It was over. The chancletas came out. He switched to YouTube and they upgraded. He just switched to YouTube. Finally, the link is in the summary, Johnny. So I remember those days.
Back in the days, kid. Back in the days. That's
call your friend. Are you watching the video?
Told you, that's simpler times, brother. Simpler times. It was just simpler. What I jumped back for a second. Great show, great stuff. Switch to YouTube, be upgraded. Johnny, big supporter. Thank you very much, my man. For those who don't know who Jonathan Syfax is, he's one of the 4 horsemen who we haven't seen, and I don't know how long because he's in witness protection. I don't know what the heck he's doing. We don't know when he'll be back.
That's the last time I saw him with our milk cartons.
But he is a writer, and he does have a book called The Lesson that he wrote, and he also has a book called The Future Scope Showcase. So if you guys follow him on Facebook at Jonathan Syfax, look up his name. You can't miss him. Syfax, Syphax. Yes. So big shout out to him. But yeah, Sammy. So we got there's an alien in my toilet. Okay, it's the 8 o'clock hour. People who are just tuning in, as you already know, we have a campaign right now. Sammy's in some kind of cockpit. But yeah, there's an alien in my toilet. Duty from the planet Uranus is invading Earth, and they won't release Sam out of wherever he is until we reach the $1,500 goal that has been set by the Emperor of Uranus. So this is the campaign. How do you make that bigger? You can't make it bigger, right?
I lost the remote control from my big screen on the wall. So and it doesn't, and these new TVs don't have buttons to turn it on. So I don't know where I lost the remote control.
Squint.
So I have it on my vertical screen, so that's why it looks that way.
So we got 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks. Yeah, 54 backers. Sam, you got some stretch goals, or what is it? What are we calling this? So if you get 100, what is it? 100 backers?
If there's 150 backers, or $5,000 raised. So whichever comes first. Then this little guy, action figure. This figure, 3D printed figure of military duty is up for grabs. So here's an opportunity for, and again, it's 6 inches tall. It'll be custom painted by me. Where did you go? There you go.
Military duty.
Yeah. So
you got. There's an image of it in here in the campaign, right? Like
there's an image. I'll scroll it. I'll scroll down.
Yeah.
So you can see. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. Bang. So there he is in all his glory. And so, yes, I will raffle one off. So if you can spread the word and get everybody, because there's 108 people signed up for the campaign that still haven't pulled the trigger.
Oh, pull it.
Click. If you're watching this, if you're out there, there's some great incentives. There's also a new all-inclusive bundle for the people that like to have everything. Right here, you get the Super Duty bundle, where you get all the books, the coloring book, the guidebook, the trading cards, a button, the toilet sticker, the Duty on the Stump sticker, plus a sketch cover with an original sketch by me, all for a measly $100. And a big savings, huge savings. You're saving like $60. And then there's also, for you indie comic creators and podcasters out there, there's the podcasters bundle. Where's that bad boy? Did I just pass it? Yes, I did. There it is. Bang. Oh, where? Oh, there it is. There it is. So there it is. The podcaster indie creators bundle. So you get 1 month free of promotion on Cast the Craze podcast. That's a 30-second commercial that we'll play once a week on the show. Plus, you get a copy of the book and a packet of trading cards. So you get you get a commercial every week on Cast the Craze for a month. Plus, you get to get the copy of the book and the trading card. So it's a great deal, and that's also a big savings. Because if you bought those ads on Catch the Craze podcast, that's about almost $100. So you're saving a lot of money.
A lot of money.
So there's a lot of incentives for teachers. There's a lot of incentives for retailers. There's a retail bundle. So I would love to, by the end of day tomorrow, to be past goals so we can start working towards the stretch goals.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, big shout out to 54 of you guys who have already, guys and gals who have already pledged to the campaign. Thank you very much. Yeah, and the goal is 1,500. Hopefully that you can get to that in the next couple of days. That way, like you said, Sam, you can get into the stretch goals. What do you got for stretch goals? What are you planning on stretch goals?
Well, stretch goals, we got the trading card by Daphne Lage. We also have a trading card by Brian Kong. We have a print, and then we'll see. So let's get to the first stretch goal. Let's make the goal. Let's get them first milestone so we can start working toward it. If we can break goal by the end of the day tomorrow, we will be in good shape.
That's right. Yeah, that's definitely a goal. And you know what? There's some really good incentives. I mean, listen, if you're a collector, if you're out there and you're watching and you're a collector of, I don't want to call them toys. They're collectibles, basically. But it's like this is the printed action figure, 6 inches. This is a one of a couple. I will say, what do you got? 10 of those ever made?
There's 10 made of these.
Yep.
And they will be custom painted by me. And I mean, it's badass. I'm just saying. It is.
Nice.
It is awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah. So if you guys are interested, if you're collectors and you're interested in this kind of stuff, there is a tier for that. So check it out on the campaign. And you have two options. You can either get it painted or you can get it, just the way Sam showed it so that you guys can hand paint it yourself. Some people like to do that where they can just, customize and do it themselves. So there's that. There's an alien in my toilet. It is going from now until March 8th. So let's make it happen. There's plenty of time, but we want to get to some of those stretch goals because if anyone who has done these campaigns know that at the end of the campaign, it takes a little while before everything gets sent out to you. So that could take about 2 weeks. But also, sometimes not all of the money that is shown there is sent to you because for different reasons, failed credit cards, whatever. Uh-oh. What we got there? So it's important to get to the amount above the 1,500 as it is right now. To make sure that there are enough funds to get everything shipped because the book is completed. The book is done. Mm-hmm. It's remastered. I'm lettering it right now. If you guys tune in on Thursday, and if it's okay with Sam, I want to just preview a small sample of one of the pages that was done, so you guys can check it out. So tune in Thursday morning for that. But yeah, so that's what's going on. That's what's going on with the Duty Meister. And there's a sticker, right, Sam? I mean, we haven't spoken too much about the sticker. The Dude.
Well, yeah, the Dudester sticker. There's a couple of people that actually backed it, went online, said I am a Dudester. I backed this campaign. That nice. I've been writing the names down. I have a names list of everyone that's going to get the official Dudester sticker, cool. Which is right here. So for everybody who's backed the campaign, there you are. You're going to get the official, and you actually went on social media and said, I backed this campaign. I am a Dudester. You're going to get this with your reward as well. And don't forget, tomorrow we will be, who's this? Do I go? Hey, what's up? So tomorrow we will be on Indie Comics Relay at 9 p.m. They're going to be on our show at 8 o'clock. So that we're going to be live. It's a double feature. So they're going to be on our show at 8 o'clock and we'll be on their show at 9 o'clock. So check us out with Johnny C. and Keith Gleason. There you go. Yeah. And then join us on Thursday morning for episode 2 of the Morning Brew and the Crazy Crew. So join us Thursday morning where we're going to do a follow-up to the discussion that started on the Crazy and Tell Less from Monday about trusting your instincts and being mindful of if a deal smells fishy, it generally is. So with that said, I see that our guest is in the waiting room. So before we bring her in, we're going to show the bump from our counterparts at Raging. So here it
Yes.
is.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' to the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding? With the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
All right.
Love that. Hey.
How's it going? Thanks for
Good.
having me.
How you doing? Welcome to Catch the Craze. This is now, Kathryn. Pronounce your last name for us because we kill last names. It's what we do.
Calamia.
There you go.
Calamia.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, for those who don't know, okay, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I grew up in New York, and I am a New Yorker all my life. And yeah, so I've been writing comics for 6 or 7 years. I've been in comics for over a decade as a critic. I started on YouTube, and then I did writing for IGN, Newsarama, fandom.com, did some stuff for TV Guide, DC Comics. So done a lot of journalism over the years. And my other comics I've written, I have a superhero book called Like Father, Like Daughter. Right now, I have a campaign for They Call Her Dancer. It's a mini series about dancer / assassin. Also, the editor of By Visibility wrote some stories in there as well, and also the co-writer of Slice of Life, a webtoon on Webtoon. So always keeping myself busy.
Yes, you are. And you know what? Not to sound cliche, but there's a lot to unpack in what you just told us. There's so much going on there. My personal question, because I have a love-hate relationship with critics, right? Because of things that have happened to me in the past. So when you are critiquing a book, like you get a comic book and you're critiquing the book, right? What's the mindset you're in? Like, you have to be honest with this. Do you ever feel bad about how bad this thing is? You know what I mean? Like, not the good ones, because I don't care about the bad ones. Like, talk to us about how do you approach a bad critique?
I love that question. Yeah, the great ones are easy, right? Because you just talk about how much you love the book. But with the bad ones, I feel like you never trash anybody, right? Don't be mean about it. Don't be like, this sucked and it should be flushed down the toilet. No, don't do that. Just say what you felt like didn't work in the book. And maybe if there is something that you liked, you could talk about that as well. If there's nothing you liked, you can say, hey, it wasn't for me. I'm sure it's for somebody else, but just wasn't to my personal preference, and this is the reasons why. So just try not to be too mean about it, but try to be honest about it. I think it's a fine line.
Yeah. Do you learn from some of those bad critiques, like for your own writing? Like, you look at those things like, damn, that's something I should avoid. Like, do you do any of that sometimes?
For sure. I think you learn from great stories and you learn from bad stories too. I think it showcases what you don't like. I feel like just because maybe you think it's a bad story, maybe someone else would love that story. So it just showcases the stuff that you don't particularly want to write, and you should uncover why it didn't work for you. Don't just say it sucked, I don't know why. Just figure out like why you thought it was bad and try to avoid those things when you're writing.
So providing feedback on somebody's body of work, sometimes it draws on somebody's emotion. And so do you get have you ever had somebody come back to you and say, you don't know what you're talking about? How could you have said this about my book? Have you ever had any of that? And if so, how did you handle it?
Honestly, in the 10 years and probably thousands of comics I've reviewed, it's only happened to me once or twice, and that's literally the number. And at that point, you either don't answer and you just let it be, or if you really feel like it's something you need to answer, or they asked you a question about it, you'd be like, hey, sorry for the difference in opinion, but this is how I felt. Honestly, normally just don't answer. If I'm being honest, it's usually the best route to go. But honestly, again, luckily, I think I've always been nice enough where when I gave a critique, it was never attack on somebody personally, or was so like, fiery that someone would go knocking at my door and say, how can you say that? Most times we're like, oh, she said it pretty nicely, I could just move on.
So just to take a little further backwards for a second, did you always know you wanted to write? At what point in your life did you say, this is the route I'm going to take?
No, I always wanted to do something in storytelling. I didn't really know exactly what that was. I remember when I graduated high school, I went into communications because I was like, oh, I know I want to do something in that vicinity. I just didn't know exactly what. And then as I was in college, and honestly, I took some journalism classes, I was like, oh, I really want to do that. And then I also realized as I did more journalism, like, I really want to lean more into creative stuff, which is why I don't do as much journalism as I used to, just because like I liked it. But I think my love comes into with creating stuff. So it wasn't like a one, since I was 2, I knew I wanted to write. Like I always loved stories, and since I was 2, I always, loved comics. Like I really don't remember a time I wasn't reading comics. So I've always enjoyed comics. I knew I wanted to do something in it. And then I think throughout my life, I figured, oh, writing, this is what I'm good at, and this is what I like. So, yeah.
So how did you end up in I'm sorry, how did you end up, what was your first break into, whether it's critiquing or reviewing? What was your first break into the business?
So I kind of created my own path. I did my YouTube channel, Comic Uno, and then I realized, oh, I could write with this too. Like I don't have to just do videos. So luckily I had a couple of jobs beforehand that weren't paying jobs. I won't count them as them, but you need to have those jobs to build a portfolio for your journalism. So I had a couple of friends that wrote some reviews for at that point. But then when I actually was becoming a journalist and getting paid jobs, my first job was actually Newsarama. Believe it or not, that was my first written job. I worked with them for a really long time, and I still do freelance for them here and there. So I started doing reviews for them first. And then I went to Comic-Con and I said, hey, if you want any coverage or anything, let me know. And they did. So I did coverage for them and they really liked my coverage. Like, oh, we would love you to do like interviews and like features and stuff like that. And features means like, writing opinion pieces pretty much. So, or writing like, oh, this is how Batgirl became Oracle or articles like that. But I started, I became like their DC beat reporter for a while, and I did pretty much all their DC Comics interviews. So and then along the way I did IGN fandom, again TV Guide, DC Comics, which was a lot of fun.
What was you mentioned you've been reading comics since you were a child. What was the comic that catapulted you into this path or this journey of reading comics, enjoying comics, writing about comics? What was the comic book that did it for you?
I feel like there's a few, because I remember when I was a kid, what like was the first comic like my dad read to me was Silver Age Superman. And then after that, I remember like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies are coming out, and then I grew up with like X-Men Evolution and Static Shock and stuff like this, Teen Titans. And I remember like, oh, I want to, like, these are based on comics. I knew that because of my dad. So I was like, oh, I should go get some Spider-Man comics. And along the way, like sometime in grammar school, I started reading Spider-Girl by Tom DeFalco, and that was like I think the comic that made me fall in love with comics. Like I always liked comics, I always loved Spider-Man and stuff like that. But I loved Spider-Girl. It's still my favorite comic of all time. So I would say that is what really got me into reading and writing and all this.
Did you ever have aspirations of writing maybe for Spider-Girl?
Oh yeah, of course. Like if Marvel came knocking on my door, I definitely would write for Spider-Girl. I think it's not hard to say that I think I'm her biggest fan because there's only a few of us. So it's not that hard.
It's funny. Jonathan Syfax just said, hello, Kathryn. Always cool to hear from a fellow writer. Love it. You rock. I think that because, and part, and the sentiment is there in the fact that, you're living almost like the dream, right? Like, so maybe we're not writing in comics right now, but the fact that you wrote pieces for comics, Newsarama is a big, for anybody who's into comics and knows, Newsarama was always that news source for comics and stuff like that. So that's awesome that you were able to do that. What led you then to write your own comic? I think it's a natural progression. I think that's what happens. But tell us a little bit about your journey into writing your own comic.
Yeah, so I graduated college in 2016, I think. And along that way, I took a screenwriting class because again, I knew I wanted to write, and I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in that regard. So I took a screenwriting class, and then I wrote like Father Like Daughter actually as a screenplay. And then I was like, oh, why am I not making this a comic? It's a superhero book. And then I remember making a YouTube video saying, oh, I'm looking for an artist. And I was able to find my artist through that and work on that book. And then obviously along the way, you learn a lot more about making comics. But that was actually like my first comic I made. And then I wrote The Dancer after that, which is crazy because I wrote that a little while ago, actually. But we are now getting to a point where we could actually release it all and get it done. I was with the company previously, so now I self-publish everything. So now there's no restraints. I could do whatever I want. Yeah. So that's what gave me the opportunity to now just release all of The Dancer in the way I want to release it. So it's all colored now, and issue 1 was very successful. We had over $10,000 in that, and 500 something backers, and we're gearing into that for issue 2 as well, maybe a little bit more. So it's been really great to see that, and it's a 4-issue mini. And then along the way, I'm bisexual, so I wanted to create something for other bisexuals out there, and that got us over 1,300 backers on Kickstarter. Wow, and like $30,000, which is amazing. And then so my writing partner Phil, we did a crossover book with his book Haunting, which is also now live on Kickstarter. And then that's when we realized like, oh, we should continue to write with each other. And that's when Slice of Life was born, and we're like, oh, we want to do something with webtoon and traditional comics, so we do Kickstarter and webtoon. So everything connected to everything else. And very happy with how things are going right now.
Phil, it's funny because Phil Falco has been on the show, and Haunting is a great book.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great book, and he's a great dude. I saw him actually at Baltimore Comic Con not too long ago. And so Phil Falco, great guy. Tell us a little bit about just what the story of Like Father Like Son, I'm sorry, what was the title?
Like Father Like Daughter.
Yes, Like Father Like Daughter. Tell us a little bit about that before we jump into The Dancer, because we want to talk about the campaign.
Yeah, so Like Father Like Daughter, again, was the first book I wrote where I literally just got the letters for issue 8. So that's been the big issue. Everything changes there. So I'm excited to eventually launch the book. It's so funny when you have so many Kickstarters. It's just like the book is done. And now it's actually the idea of like, we have a couple of pinned Kickstarters coming up, and then we have By Visibility Volume 2. And then we could do Like Father Like Daughter, even though it's done. But anyways, it's about a high school girl. Father lets her become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him except for her. And then she inherits his abilities. There's a lot of twisted turns that come along with it. And it's my baby. It's so interesting because Kickstarter doesn't have a lot of superhero books. So I kind of nurture it in that way where it's like, it's not the By Visibilities, but still like, those are my children.
No, I like the premise. Sounds
Thank you.
Interesting as hell. That's good. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on something. The motivation behind autonomy and be able to control your destiny. Yeah. What were some of the things that you did not like, which inspired you to say, you know what, I'm going to go my own path. I don't want to be under the restraints of a publisher.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing was just the control of my own product. I would say, especially release schedule wise, I didn't have control of that. I didn't, that point, have control of the Kickstarters, which, now is a huge deal because I do Kickstarter consulting and, do all that stuff. And I'm a big part of Kickstarter. So that was another thing. And that kind of gave me to the ultimate decision of, hey, I could do this on my own, and it worked out. I definitely have no regrets working with a publisher in the past, but as of right now, the best route for me is just doing it with me and my business partner again, Phil.
Awesome.
Outstanding. So we want to segue into The Dancer. So walk us through the purpose. I'm gonna pull this on the screen so that we see it.
So there's the dancer. She's a dancer / assassin. When she was little, she witnessed her parents being murdered in front of her and never dealt with that trauma until now.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow. You know what? The first thing that I noticed on the campaign, Kathryn, is that you don't have a video, right? Traditionally, people say, do videos, why did you opt not to do the video?
Because honestly, I never see a big difference with it. I feel like for me personally, I don't click on the video. I do find it depends on where you're at. Like, I feel like if you're really trying, haven't really grown a fan base yet, I say do everything in your power to, do what you want and experiment. If you think a video will help, do it. Like for Bi Visibility, it was a great example of I will always do a video because it's something that's like, you talk about bisexuality, you could really talk authentically about it. Not saying you can't talk authentically about a dancer who lost their parents, but I'm not a dancer who lost their parents. So, I feel like I just be talking about the story and it should just be a talking heads video. And I'm like, oh, that's not really that interesting. Gotcha. So I rather just have the thumbnail there. But again, I think it's a personal preference for sure. Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think the video is most important unless you're going to do something crazy with it. That's my opinion. But I definitely know other people have different opinions on that. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer on that. I don't think it's like a rule where like if your thumbnail sucks, you're probably not going to do good on Kickstarter, right? So like that's a rule that everyone should follow. If you don't have a video, you're not going to lose any backers.
I gotcha. Yeah, no. We have a question from the audience before we move on here. I just wanted to ask it real quick. He says, Jonathan Safek says, I have a question. What do you feel is the most challenging aspect of writing for you, if any? Pacing, character development, theme, emotional beats, etc.
Time. No. But yes. It's finding the energy to sit down and because right now, like sometimes I can have a whole beat sheet done. Like, and one thing again, I keep going to Phil, but one thing that's been so lucky is having a writing partner. Mm-hmm. And luckily also in our partnership, a lot of times the scene that makes me very excited doesn't make him as excited and vice versa. So when I'm not as interested in a scene, he's usually really interested in it. And I was like, oh, cool. So you can write that scene. And it ends up working out because then we just really write the scenes that we're most excited for. And you can just call up your friend and say, hey, I'm stuck in this place. What should we do? And then have like a session. I think the harder one is like my solo projects where you got to really sit down with yourself and be like, okay, where am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to beat this out? But that's fun too. That's a challenge all on its own. I mean, that's why we do some of our individual projects where, he'll have a haunting and I'll have a like for like daughter. It's not going to stop us from doing our individual stuff. But I will say, the hardest thing is just sitting down and getting it done.
Wow. It sounds like the way you approach it is like a screenplay.
Yeah, I will say for I have a master's in TV writing, so that definitely is something I imply into my comic writing. I would say I definitely with Phil we break it up that way, but we still really think about it as a comic. I do think there is a lot of differences in comics and TV as well because like the page turn is so important and a cliffhanger is so important in comics. But one thing I think is cool. And when I was doing my TV writing masters, I remember I was like talking to like my fellow classmates about this because they asked like, what's the difference? Like, is there a difference between TV writing and comics? And I say the big difference is that you are the director. So you very much have to explain what's going on in the panel, where in TV, you could just be like, and they look here. And then that's pretty much it. The actor could kind of decide what they want to do and the director can decide what they want to do. But TV, if you're talking about drama, is 4 acts. So I would say it's like 4 comic issues because every act has to end on a cliffhanger because you're going to go to commercial break. At least even with the binge shows, they still consider that act break is like a commercial break. So in that regard, I think both kind of are married together, but they're also different.
Yeah, I think, Jim Shooter, I think once said that with comic book, right? Like we think when we tell a story, our brains think in motion, where everything's moving as we're telling that story. When you are writing a comic book, you have to pause the important parts of that story in your head, and that's what's drawn. You know what I mean? Because you can't have a character open this and then take a sip all in one motion. He's got to open it and then take a sip because it's not a moving image. So that gets challenging because you forget about those things as you're writing sometimes. And I think you have to kind of like stop and say, okay, wait, you can't do both actions in one panel. I have to break that up or not do one or the other. And
for sure.
So it's interesting. It's very interesting. These pages look great, Kathryn. I mean,
thank you.
You really, look at that image. That is insane. So tell us a little bit about the campaign and what you're offering and, what they can expect from it.
Yeah, so this is issue 2 of The Dancer, so you can get issue 1, you can catch up on everything. We have variant covers ranging from the one you see there is actually an issue 1 variant cover that we're making a metal cover for Make 100, so that's cool. We have foil covers exclusive to the campaigns. That means you cannot get it anywhere else except for this campaign. We're not making any more. So we tried to give something to our Kickstarter backers in that regard. We have trading cards, which we've been doing for the past couple of campaigns that have been doing really well, and we love doing the trading cards. We also have an indie bundle. So if you, let's say you only want to support for $1, you're getting like 20 books for free, ranging from like the Duplicant to Boston Mythical Society. So it's, yeah, you're getting a lot of different books there and high class, highbrow books of Kickstarter. So I think you'll find your new favorite through that, and everybody gets it. So even if you back it for $1, you get that.
That's awesome. Where did the idea for the story itself come from? Like, where did the inspiration come from for the?
So I went to a liberal arts college, and I saw a lot of dance, and you know, that was something that was always interesting to me. I did dance for a while too. I did it for like 7 years. I'm not an expert, but I did it for a while, so like I knew dance. But I also did martial arts for the same exact time and probably the same day. I remember like on Fridays, at like 4, I'd go to take my taekwondo lessons, and then like at 7, I'd do my dance classes. So it was always on the same day. And then I was thinking, like back in college, I was thinking about how similar they were, as you know, especially when you try to get your next belt in taekwondo. You do something called a form, so it's kind of like this choreography of punches and kicks, and it's just dance. And I remember thinking that they were very similar. So I want, and that was like the main focus of like, oh, I want to showcase these things you think are so different, and how they're similar in its brutality and its beauty as well. And then, you know, I came up with the idea of like, well, how about if she was Batman and he actually dealt with her trauma. So it's a story that you think is all about this physical attribute, about dance and martial arts, but really it's about mental health. So yeah, it's a full circle story in that regard.
That's awesome. No, that's incredible. You know, I always, like, as a writer and as a creator, one of my biggest challenges is the title of the book. So how much thought did you put into, okay, do I do something crazy and cool sounding that nobody's ever heard of, or do I keep it simple and say The Dancer and find out what this is about based on that title? How did you determine the title?
So I really just wanted to call it The Dancer because, you know, she was a dancer, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But the reason it's called They Call Her the Dancer, even though in speech and like in this, I'll just say it's the dancer she wanted to, because is what I would want to call it anyways.
Yeah.
But there was an image book like 15 years ago called The Dancer, so we couldn't use it. So we're like, okay, what's the other title we could use? So we're like, They Call Her the Dancer. Great, let's use it. So that was how we came up with the title. It would have and should have been The Dancer, but it's called They Call Her a Dancer because we didn't want to get confused with another book.
Ah, all right, interesting.
So let's talk about the idea behind the special gift box.
Yeah, so we did that first with Buy Visibility, and it did really well. We're like, oh, great. So people really want the whole collection, and the box didn't cost that much to actually make itself. So we decided, hey, why not do like these special like design boxes for our fans that want everything? And you know, it's been doing well for us. And the thing is, we actually use these at conventions too as mystery boxes, and those do well there too. By Visibility, we've sold a good amount, and yeah, so we kind of use it for this, but then we could use it for another purpose and do it for conventions as well.
When you ship it, do you ship the box inside of a box, or do you actually just ship the box itself just like that?
So we do it inside of a box, that way it doesn't dirty it, just because you never know how the mail is going to be. So we get like either a big yellow envelope we've used, or we use like just a regular shipping box.
Yeah, this looks great. And what do you get inside the box? I know it's the collector's item, but what do you get inside?
So the standard is just everything dancer. So you get all the issue 1 black and white, you get the issue 2 all the variant covers, you get the foil cover, you get the trading cards, you just get everything you can for the dancer. So then if you go to the advanced one, you get all the dancer stuff, but then you get all my other titles. So you get Slice of Life, you get High Visibility. So if you want the whole cat collection, you could do the advanced box.
Nice. And we have some add-ons. So some of the add-ons, I see this trading cards, right? Like the trading cards, are these like just collectors, or are they going to be for a game, or what are you guys thinking with the trading cards?
Right now, they're just collector cards, but there's definitely opportunity to play a game. Like Phil's like, he's been trying to figure it out. He's like, oh, this could be an interesting way to play it. So I never say never to the game, but as of right now, they're just collectibles. But the whole point is trying to get the holo cards. So it's a 1 out of 6 chance to get. There's 2 holo cards there. So yeah, and that's been a lot of fun. And we're like $500 away from unlocking. Everybody who backs up physical gets 1 card. So you get a chance just for free to get a holo card. And so far, every campaign we've unlocked that. So I think we have a pretty good chance of getting there, just because we haven't hit the 48-hour mark yet. Usually the last 2 days do pretty well. So yeah, so we're probably gonna give everyone a free trading card. We'll see how the end of this campaign does.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. So with all the things that you're doing, and the things that take up each moment of your day, what made you decide to go into consulting?
Oh wow. Honestly, I just really like helping people out. I really do. I just like explaining the knowledge I've learned over the years and trying to help people, because I think that's what Kickstarter is all about, is community. And I had the tips, I had the experience, especially for people who have never done Kickstarter before. I mean, I help a lot of people that have done Kickstarter. But I think that's kind of what I've always just wanted to do. I really just like helping people and trying to get their Kickstarter to be the best it can, and using the tools that I've learned over the years to do so.
Awesome. What is the biggest or the best tip you can give somebody who has a Kickstarter or who's planning to do a Kickstarter? What's the one thing that you can say, hey, make sure you do this?
Oh man, there's so many things, but if I have to pick one, it's your thumbnail, making sure it looks awesome, and making sure your subheader has your log line, which means like your elevator pitch, and make it a hook, like make it like, let us know why we should buy it. And then same thing for your title, make it exciting, because those are the 3 things that maybe a backer will only see. They won't click on your page unless those are exciting. So it won't matter what's on your page unless those things are good.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the looking glass. 5 years from now, what can we expect from Kathryn?
Oh man, I would love to do more work for hire in the future. That's something me and Phil have definitely been looking to do. But ultimately, just like building our empire, building our projects, and making them bigger and better each campaign, and doing as many projects as we can. So that is, us always trying to be creative. Same, individually, same here. It's just always being creative and trying to top yourself.
Right.
Well, how many issues is the dancer? How many?
So it's 4 issues. It's all done. It's all complete, actually. Nice. So again, it's just getting it on the calendar, because right now we have one definite pin campaign that's happening. We might have another. It's a teaser. And then we have By Visibility, then Life Ally Daughter, and then the dancer. So
you're busy. You're busy.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. So we can expect 2 more of these campaigns. For the dancer.
Oh yeah, maybe
definitely
even 3.
More.
Most likely 3, because you're gonna get a trade too. So you gotta collect them all.
Absolutely. Are you doing any shows this year?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of shows. We are gonna be doing Terrific Con. We're doing. I have to just look at my calendar, because we're doing so many. I know we're doing Boston Fan Expo, Baltimore. All right, let me look for a second. We have Fan Expo Philly. We're most likely doing MegaCon. We are doing. I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, at least for press. Boston, like I mentioned, and Baltimore and Rhode Island. Those are the ones all booked so far. So
nice.
Good amount.
All right. So if they want to find you, if you guys are going to those shows, definitely go. You guys are going to have booths, so I'm sure that you guys will be letting everyone know. Just give us your social handles. I see one here on the screen, Comic Uno. Where else can they find you, or even if, I don't know, Phil, or where can they find you guys?
Yeah, for Phil, it's Phil Falco Writes on Twitter. For me, it's at Comic Uno, pretty much everywhere. So my YouTube channel is Comic Uno. My Twitter, where I'm most active, is Comic Uno. you want to follow me on Facebook, it's also Comic Uno. So that's definitely the best place to find me.
All right, so I'm going to put the screen on you. Tell us why the dancer, and give us your pitch.
So hopefully you guys could go check out The Dancer. Again, it's about a dancer/assassin. And when she was younger, she witnessed her parents being murdered in front of her. Never dealt with that trauma until now. If you're looking for an action story that actually has a lot to do with the psychological bend, go check out The Dancer.
Outstanding. Well, thank you, Kathryn, for being on Catch the Craze. And again, we don't have to wish you success because you've got the secret formula. But yeah, it was glad to have you on the show, and you and Phil are always welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much. We'd love to be on, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. And good luck with your campaign as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You take care.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
So that was Kathryn Calamari, and that was the dancer Calamia. Calamari. I say calamari. See, I was thinking of food.
You're hungry, bro. You're hungry. It's about that time. You're getting hungry,
Yes,
bro.
yes. On Catch the Craze podcast, another successful campaign tonight. So that's two campaigns that you witnessed today. Yeah, another good show.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Yeah, Kathryn's done a lot, man, and she's busy. She's productive. She's knowledgeable. If you guys want to hit her up, obviously Comic Uno, she does consulting for Kickstarter. So if you guys are interested in getting some tips and stuff like that, you can hire her for that. Notice I said hire because you would be hiring her to do so. And but yeah, wealth of information, right? It sounds like she has a lot of knowledge. She's got a lot of campaigns we love. So that's a plus. And she's killing it, dude. Almost $10,000 on this campaign. The Haunting, which is the other campaign that they're involved in, also at 10 G's. So they're really killing it. They have a lot of followers and things of that nature. So yeah, no, it's very, very good, very interesting.
Yeah. So this is a big week. There's a lot of shows that I'll be on this week. Hope to see you guys in the chat on those shows. Here's an update. What's today's date? The 22nd. So starting tomorrow, we're going to be on, George and I will be on Indie Comics Relay tomorrow night together. And then on the 24th, I'll be on Story Comic, Brutal Planet Comics. On the 25th, Spoiler Country. The 26th, Two Geeks Talking and CromCon. And then Sunday, Coffee and Comics and Done Comic Creators. And then Monday with Raging. So, it's I would be tired, but yeah. So
it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah. I asked for it. I asked for it. I wanted to double what I did last time, so it's gonna be fun. But yeah, if you haven't done so already, check out the campaign for There's Nail in My Toilet. We're 54 backers in. There's about 108 still pending, waiting on them pulling the trigger. But yeah, pledge to the campaign. Again, you get an opportunity to win. This bad boy right here, boom, Dudarius Uranus. So if we get 150 backers or 5,000, whichever comes first, you have an opportunity. I'll be raffling that off. Awesome. And that's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good. And we have Thursday morning. We have the morning crew.
The morning
with the crazy Jesus Christ. Why can't I say it? Morning brew with the crazy crew. Yeah, you should give me the crying baby. Jesus. Yeah, anyway, we have that Thursday at 9 a.m. So make sure you tune in. We're going to be talking some good stuff on there, some just current events, things of that nature, and a little sneak peek as to some of the stuff that we're working on. Yep. Hopefully you guys have some stuff that you guys can share with us. We're throwing out the challenge to make sure that you guys are creating whatever it is you're doing. And if you want to share it with us, by all means, let us know what it is that you are working on. Just keep working on your craft, keep working on what you're doing, whether it's writing, drawing, coloring, whatever it is you're doing, making cakes, whatever it is you're doing, keep creating, keep doing your thing.
Cakes.
Baking cakes is an art form, bro. You ever seen some of these cake? Like it's ridiculous. It's crazy. But whatever it is you're doing, practice your magic tricks. Whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it. And if you want to share it with us, we're on 9 a.m. Thursday morning.
Yeah, it's going to be a lively conversation, and we hope to hit. And if you are going to join us, we asked the question, what are you working on? So we'd love to hear what you're working on.
Yes.
What's your week look like and what's on your agenda? Because my this never ends.
You got to get out of that cockpit, bro. You got to get out of that ship.
I know. Probably tomorrow morning. Well, I gotta start painting these guys, so I won't be able to. But I run around the yard with the dogs.
Nice.
That's how I
get your cardio on, bro.
Cardio in, and I do about 20 minutes on the bike,
okay.
and I have to get because I realized when I was running with the dogs, it's like, wait, why am I winded? I ran around this yard 3 times. What the hell? And I'm like, so I was like, yo, I said I gotta work my cardio because it doesn't matter if I'm strong if I'm out of shape. It's like,
it's true.
Because that's how you get beat by the fast little guys who are in shape.
That's funny.
I was like, come here, yo. Stop moving. Just stay still for a second so I can hit you.
I can hit you. Oh man. But yeah, man. So that was another excellent show.
Yep.
Thank you guys for tuning in and just listening to some of the creators that we have on the show. It's crazy how many creators there are out there, bro, and how many projects there are, whether it's Kickstarter, you used to see it at conventions, right? Like when you used to go to conventions, we used to go down Artist Alley or small press, all of the projects that are out, the amount of things that people are creating. It's incredible, dude. Now Kickstarter is just another.
I was thinking about it. It was like when I was talking whatever. Because I really love the thumbnail that for Days in my toilet that's on the campaign page right now.
Yeah.
And so I was like, because I remember when I did Forbidden, I kept playing around with the graphic and trying to figure out which is the one that's going to be. I mean, you don't know what's going to grab somebody's attention. Yeah. But like when I heard from William Pace, and he says that's my favorite cover. Mm-hmm. I want that cover. Is it a strong enough thumbnail? Is it not a strong enough thumbnail? I like the thumbnail. Do I need to change it and put like the Matrix or Rambo in there?
Right,
get it more, it's one of those things that you don't know.
Yeah.
I
know it's true. And trial and error. I mean, see now this is a shorter campaign. It's 21 days versus the normal 30-day campaigns that you would normally do. So, usually you change that a few times or whatever. And see which one works better. I personally like that as well. It's interesting that she also said when I asked her about the video, it's preference. It's not necessarily it's not necessary. Now, when somebody who has almost $10,000 on 2 campaigns tells you that a video is not necessary, you got to listen a little bit. You know what I mean? Like if she had like $1,000 and she had no video, you're like, well, maybe you need a video and you'd probably be doing a little better. But it kind of doesn't matter, it looks like, right?
Yeah, because when I was looking at the stats, so she's right, because when you look at the video play, with the amount of traffic, if I go to dashboard, right? And if you look at the traffic to the page, the amount of people that are actually played, 43 people have played it. So it's only been played 43 times. Right. But there's a 30% completion rate. So of that 43, only 30% actually watched it to the end.
Actually finished it.
Right. So is it really necessary? And I've never seen any like huge significant playthroughs. So yeah, I mean, there could be a valid point to that.
Just one image, because she made a good point as to say, hey, if your image is strong, your pitch is on the money, that's what's going to make people scroll through and see what else they have. Right. So, obviously, like I said, if this was a person who was only making $1,000 per campaign said that to me, maybe I'd be like, you need a video. But when it's somebody who's making, $10,000, $30,000 in some of these campaigns, and there aren't any videos, maybe there's something to it. So I don't know. Because you know what it is with a video too, you run the chance of either the person finds it too boring or, doesn't find the video engaging, or there are just more things to dissect and deter and say, I don't need that. You know what I mean? So like, you're just giving them more reasons to do it, I love all of the great indie work. It's dope as heck. Creativity is such a gift because it's someone creates or inspires change. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Again, everything is a matter of taste.
Yeah.
You can appeal to some, you're not going to appeal to the others. It's like,
Yeah.
I think the biggest key to it all is that foundation of a fan base. Because she hit it on the nail. She's gonna be busy on the convention circuit. That's huge in bringing attention to what you're doing, because you're bringing that population to your campaigns.
Yeah, they know where to find you. It's not just here. You can also find me here. It's just different, places, like being at different stores. Like if you can't get me here, I'm on the web. I'm on the web. So kudos to Phil Falco, to Kathryn Calamia. They're doing incredible work. Like I told you, like I met Phil at one of the conventions. Great dude. He's been on the show a few times. The Haunting is a great book. So if you guys haven't yet picked it up, check that out. It's on Kickstarter as well. And obviously, when they go on these convention tours, check them out and chat them up. They're cool as all heck. But yeah, brother. So tomorrow we have two live shows back to back. Back to back. So that's going to be fun. And then Thursday, we already said we have our morning show. And then on Friday, we have our pre-recorded show. We're going to have artist Damian Torres, who does work for the Winchester Mystery House for Source Point Press. So we're going to have that interview on Friday. Yep. So check that out. We're going to be talking to him. And man, we have a full week. And then, obviously, if you get a chance, pledge to the campaign for, There's an Alien in My Toilet. And that's all I got for tonight, my brother.
Help spread the word. With that said, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Recommend it to a friend. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Pandora or any of the other streaming platforms, give us a rating and also recommend it to a friend. Thank you so much. With that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Burr.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And we are
it's just easy. It's not. Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met say my name. Right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
he described me. He said, I'm the
what? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.